Hello and welcome back to my Christmas cabin where it is snowing a blizzard outside, but it's lovely and warm in here. So I'm just going to stay here until I've done all my Christmas recipes. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be giving you two really cool showstopper cakes that you can take to your office party or put on your Christmas table. And this is the first one. I'm going to show you how to decorate a really simple round layer cake to look like a Christmas jumper. So you're obviously going to need a cake to start with. I've just used a simple vanilla sponge recipe. You can get that from my piñata cake recipe, just don't stamp the holes out from the middle. And also you're going to need some vanilla buttercream. I've actually done a vanilla buttercream masterclass video, so check that out. And the recipe that I've got there, just times that by 4 and that will give you enough to layer the cake, crumb coat it, and have enough for the piping. So I've split my buttercream into 3 bowls because I'm going to colour it white, which obviously is already, red and a pale icy blue, because I think that's a nice alternative to red and green, which you see all the time at Christmas. Now with my 3 colours ready to go, I now need to put them into piping bags. So I've actually got 4 piping bags here with 4 different nozzles on. The first one I'm going to use is a ribbon nozzle or a sort of petal nozzle. Other ones I've got round and star nozzles just to give it a little bit more texture. I am going to be using this template, which I find really helpful. I'm going to try and put a link to this in the description box below, so check that out. I find it much easier to use a template because there's a lot of dots and each square is a blob of icing basically, so this way you can count how many blobs you need in a row. So make sure you go and click on the link. And I'm going to start by putting a trim around the bottom of my cake, and this is a bit like the trim of an actual jumper. And I'm going to be using my petal piping nozzle for that one. So I'm just going to zigzag it up and down, making a height of about 1 centimetre. And I'm only doing a small amount at a time before I turn my turntable so that I don't overstretch myself. Right, I've gone all the way around. So now I just need to start with my pattern. Now on the template, you can see that I've got 1 complete row of blue dots. So that's what I'm going to start with. So keeping your piping bag completely perpendicular to the cake, start squeezing out your little dots and make every effort to make them exactly the same size. And get the dots nice and close to avoid getting gaps in between them. Right, that's my first row done. I like to do each row at a time rather than kind of doing all the red or all the white, because that way I can make sure all my dots are in line with each other and even. So I'm going to start my next line. Now on my template there's 5 dots of blue, 1 dot of red, and then so on. So just keep going round using your pattern, going 1 row at a time, changing your colours when you need to. What might happen occasionally with something like this when you're doing loads of dots is that you make a mistake, and I've just done that. I've just put a red blob where a white blob should be, but don't worry, you can fix this really easily either using a tiny little palette knife like this or just the tip of a knife. Just scoop it off and go over it. So I've completed the sides and it's starting to take shape. It looks really, really cool, but I've got my top to do. First of all, I'm going to do a trim just like I did at the bottom, but around the edge, just to tidy up that edge bit. Now I need to move on to the top bit. So I have a template for that as well. Very, very handy. So I'm actually going to start by trying to do the middle line first and work outwards from that, just because I find it a lot easier and that way you can get it as symmetrical as possible. And then again, just following from the template, 1 square equals 1 dot, just go 1 row at a time. And it's finished. You can leave it like this because it looks pretty awesome as it is, but I've actually made these really cute little stockings out of just red modelling paste, and I've painted some white patterns on them just using a bit of super white powder and vodka, and I'm using a paintbrush, and I'm going to pop them on the top. And there it is, looking pretty dreamy, I think you'll agree, ready to take centre stage on your Christmas table or at your party. Very, very nice. And don't forget, I've got another show-stopping cake next week, so tune in for that. And if you don't want to miss any of my uploads, then make sure you subscribe and click on the little bell down there to make sure you get notified every time I upload. And if you didn't get the memo, I've launched my own range of merch, so you can buy that. You can things like this delightful tea towel from my website, cupcakejemma.com, just in time for Christmas still. So get on with it, go and order some stuff, and I will be back soon. I'll see you on Saturday. Bye.